Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for another enlightening session with White Paper Actuaries. Today, we are diving into topic of discount rates and exploring their critical role in actuarial valuation for employee benefit schemes such as gratuity, leave encashment, end of service benefits and more. We will also share methods to help you estimate the impact of changes in discount rates on your employee benefit financials, aiming to clarify some essential concepts. Organizations require actual valuation of their employee benefit schemes primarily to report associated costs and liabilities in their financial statements. These valuations estimate the expected future payments that employers are likely to make under each employee benefit scheme. Various accounting standards including IAS 19, US GAAP, Ind AS 19, AS 15 mandate using projected unit credit method for these valuations. This method projects future cash flows for expected benefit payments with present value of these cash flows representing the scheme's liability. The discount rate is the key element in calculating this present value of future cash flows. Accounting standards prescribe methodology for selection of discount rates. Commonly, the standard recommends use of high quality corporate bond yield for this purpose. However, not all countries have deep markets of frequently traded corporate bonds in local currency. In such case, the standard recommends use of local currency denominated government bond yield for selection of discount rates. These recommendations are widely accepted by actuaries, companies and auditors alike. Now let's look with visual example how discount rate works in actual valuation. Let us say that we have estimated cash flow of future expected payments to be made from an employee benefit scheme. These cash flows span over a multiple years in future and vary based on several factors. Now, with all these future cash flows, we want to determine a single number which represents their present value. It is like asking how much do we need to invest today to get 1000 rupees in a bank from now. This is an important concept and forms the basis of determining today's liability for the organization in actual valuation. In present value terms, each cash flow will have a lower present value. The sum total of these cash flows gives the total liability for an employee benefit schemes. This total shall always be lower than the total value of cash flows in future. It is intuitive to note that farther a cash flow is from present date, the lower is its present value. Similarly, had the discount rate we use, the lower will be the present value of the cash flows and vice versa. As discount rate determination is based on the factors usually out of control of an organization, these concepts help an organization understand discount rate impact on its scheme financials. As we saw on previous slide, the present value of future cash flows or liabilities are determined using discount rate. If we change discount rate, keeping all other variables same, then it is likely that it will impact the scheme liability. In fact, liabilities are quite sensitive to discount rate movements and organizations should look to immunize themselves against large movement. The actual impact of the discount rate change on liability is dependent on two factors. First, the period over which the cash flows are expected to be paid for the employee benefit scheme. A pension plan liabilities will be more sensitive to discount rate than a gratuity plan because payments are expected to happen in much later years. Second, along with the spread of the payments, the weight of the future payment is also important. An end of service benefit with most payments expected to occur in first 5 years will be less sensitive than a plan with most payment expected to occur from year 6 to 10th. In order of sensitivity, we see a pension or a post-retirement medical scheme to be more sensitive than a gratuity or an end of service benefit. A leave scheme will have a lesser sensitivity as the payments may happen while an employee is working by taking holiday or encashment. Recently, we have seen remarkable resilience in Indian economy, and the Reserve Bank of India's effort have helped keep bond yields low and stable. However, there are times when bond yields fluctuate significantly. In such periods, it can be prudent for organizations to adjust their internal provision to reflect current market condition. This is where actuarial services can support organization in conducting a fresh valuation. Alternatively, here we will discuss a few straightforward methods for estimating high-level changes in the liabilities due to changes in the discount rate. Most accounting standards like IFRS, US GAAP, Ind AS require actual valuation reports to disclose two elements, namely duration and sensitivity of liability with respect to discount rate. First, duration. It represents the likely percentage change in the liability for each 1% change in the discount rate. This is a powerful tool for companies to estimate their revised liability. For example, say a company has a 1 crore of liability determined at a discount rate of 5%. The duration of the liability as disclosed in actual report is 5 years. Now, if the discount rate increases from 5 to 6%, we expect the liability to decrease. Second, the duration of the liability is 5 years, hence it should decrease by almost 5%, say to 95 lakhs. Another important figure in actual report is the sensitivity to discount rate. These usually represent the gross liability value with the discount rate up or down by a certain basis point, like it could be 25 basis point, which means liability if discount rate is up by 0.25% and the liability if discount rate is down by 0.25%. By looking at these sensitivity figures, organizations can easily determine the impact on the liability due to discount rate change. Mention a caveat about the method we discussed here. Duration or sensitivities help estimate high-level impact of the discount rate on liabilities. These estimates tend to deviate from the actuals as we look to determine impact for large movement of the discount rate. For example, previous slide we assumed this liability is determined using 5% discount rate. If we tend to use the duration or the sensitivities to say impact of 10%, then results tend to deviate from the actual. This is because actual relationship between the liability movement with respect to discount rate is not completely linear. It tends to deviate significantly as we move further from the base rates. Following are some of the sources of bond yields that can be used for determining the discount rate. The link to these have been added in the description of the video. Finally, to summarize, we discussed that discount rate play an important role in actual valuation of the employee benefit schemes. One can use duration and sensitivities to estimate impact of the discount rate change in the liabilities. It is important to select the right discount rate for the scheme in accordance with the relevant accounting standard guidelines. Our final thought is that employer management should actively monitor for any significant discount rate changes and adjust financials accordingly to avoid last minute shocks. We would be pleased to assist with any actual valuation needs you may have. Our solutions help organizations with several value adds along with the standard accounting report. Some of these solutions are detailed gain loss analysis, where we analyze and share key drivers of liability movement in valuation report. Understanding these factors help organization draw future strategy for assumptions, risk management of the scheme. Organization with multiple entities within or outside Saudi Arabia can benefit from our consolidation report. This is an Excel based report with currency conversion features so that results can be viewed on a single currency even though base results are in different currencies. Companies often worry about the impact of the changing actuaries on the scheme financials. To address this concern, we have complementary transition service as a part of our valuation takeover process. We conduct a thorough replication of the previous year's work of our client. This pro bono service ensures a seamless transition and help the company understand any potential impact resulting from changes in the actual calculations.